So what constitutes a good or a great legal bookkeeper, legal accounting? What traits do you need to have to be able to go into this kind of work? So if you've landed on our website and you're thinking about maybe I should work exclusively with attorneys and law firms, what kind of personality traits should I have? And this is a question that kind of came out during our law lab meeting that we have in our mastermind group. And we were talking about the specific traits of someone who does this kind of work. And I can tell you, you need to be that person that is very detail oriented. You have to be that type of person that doesn't mind staying with an account until you find that last penny. If you're one of those types of people that's going to just go and book in an entry because you give up, you can't find that last $15, then legal bookkeeping is not for you. You really have to go right down to the last penny when it comes to this. I think you have to be very organized and you have to have thick skin. And I think that that's a factor that you might not be thinking about that is extremely important because we're working with attorneys. And attorneys live in a world of having to present a case and then be in front of the judge or in court. And then they have to explain things. And then sometimes they have to prove they're right. And you'll find that as you do this work, as you go through working with these attorneys, you can't be wishy-washy. You have to stand firm in what you know. They're not experts in accounting any more than we're experts in doing legal work. However, sometimes they'll ask you to do things or they'll push you or drive you to explain something, and you have to be very on point, be very direct. I can't emphasize this enough because they'll see a weakness in you and they'll dive right in. So you have to make sure that you're not afraid of them. And I think we all are in the beginning. We feel a little intimidated. You know, they went to law school, they passed the bar, so it's a big deal. But it's no big a deal than what we do and the work we put in to pass a pro advisor test, for example. I'm not saying that's an equivalent, but you have to remember that you do a lot of different things to get yourself to the position that you're in with the knowledge that you obtained over the years. And all of that is a driving factor in what you know in the books. So if you're challenged on something and you know you're right, you have to stand your ground, stand firm on your belief and your knowledge and you have to explain it to the client so that they can understand. I'm not saying you need to argue with them, but remember, they argue all day. So that's a typical reactionary method of theirs, that they'll argue something that they believe is true. And if you know it's not true, like you can work with clients and I've had clients like this, where some of them are really nervous about their trust accounting, and they're telling you that they can't sleep at night. They don't believe it's right. And then you're there to help assist them, to help them sleep at night. Great term to say to them, hey, I'm here to help you sleep at night. I'm here to take that burden off of you. Remember, you're providing this client a value, and the value that the work we do, we have a value as well, but sometimes we discount our value because we know we can do things easily, but actually the value is to the client. Remember that value really belongs in what is the client value? We may think, oh, reconciling, that takes me 2 seconds. But in the client's mind, reconciliation is a big deal. They don't want to have to do it. So you are helping them not have to learn all the nuances of QuickBooks and all the other parts, the working parts that go to it. They come to you wanting to know what software to use. They come to you for your expertise. So you are that expert in your field, just like they are. So I think it's important to remember that fact when you're talking with them. And if you need to rewind this video and play it again to get a little bit of that courage, because it takes courage to stand in front of them and state what you know. Stand in front of them and pick apart a financial statement with them and explain to them what these things are. They want to learn and understand their financials. I think that gets forgotten sometimes, because sometimes it's like it's a given fact that we think they know this stuff, but they don't learn this in law school. So we have to remember that, and remember that you have a value, and that value, don't think of it as a value that's not that high. Oh, I haven't been doing this long and I don't know a lot. And yes, that could be true, that you've not really done a lot of law firm work and you're building your experience as you go, and you may charge less than perhaps I would charge to do the work. And that's fine. That we all have to start somewhere. But know that, especially if you do this work and you want to continue this work, it's nice to lean into a group like our law lab, because you'll have our collective minds to help you through any problems. But it's also good to collaborate with others. And I think that's the biggest benefit of the group, is the collaboration piece. So know that as you start to do this work, It's important to remember that you are the expert. You know what you're talking about. If you don't know an answer, give yourself some grace and space to find the answer and be honest with the client. Like, that's out of my ability to answer the question. And a lot of times I'll say to the client, that's a tax person question, not a bookkeeping question, but I will try to get you an answer. But this is what I've seen over the years, or this is, I'll find that answer for you. And so we don't ever want to give tax advice. Leave that to the tax professionals. We do what we do, but know that you can stand firm in your resolve of what you know, and know that they're looking to you for guidance. And remember, they're people. At the end of the day, they're people just like you and I. And it's just, you have to make sure that you stand firm in your conviction of your knowledge and let them know that. And I think that if you look them in the eye and you're very confident, that's going to get you a long way. So confidence is definitely one of those traits you need to have. You have to be attentive to detail. You have to love a Rubik's Cube type of, I loved algebra when I was in high school. And I think you want to be that type of person that likes to solve puzzles, because that's what these are. A lot of times working through trust accounting is puzzles. So I hope this is helpful in guiding you if you're trying to make that decision, if you want to go down the road of specialization. Remember, if you do decide you want to specialize, and this is something I had to think about when I was trying to make my determination. If you're going down the road of specialization and it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. You have a couple of clients that are lawyers and you move on to something else. So don't be afraid of specializing. It's important. I think in the future, you're really going to need to have that specialization under your belt. And I can tell you it's the best business decision I ever made. And I'm confident that if you do go down the road of specialization, you're going to be so happy. And all the fears you may have had about being boring or anything like that are just going to go by the wayside. You won't be bored. I hope this was helpful. And until next week, bye now.